the outer membrane, then you will get the inner membrane. Here so first of all the nuclear membrane. If you go to the nuclear membrane, there are two wall layers. One is outer membrane and second one is inner membrane, and both these membranes are trilaminar, that is PLP membrane. Both inner membrane and outer membrane are PLP membrane, and remember this thing, the space between these two membranes is called perinuclear cisternae or perinuclear space. This is the perinuclear cisternae. At nuclear pore, each one is nuclear pore, and through which exchange of material takes place between nucleus and cytoplasm. Is it clear to you?
Yes, sir.
Now, so what I said regarding both are the unit membrane, secondly the space between, which is 100 angstrom to 500 angstrom. Perinuclear cisternae whose width is almost 100 to 500 angstrom, and you will get a number of nuclear pores which helps in exchange of materials in between nucleus and cytoplasm. Next comes to the chromatin reticulum. How is chromatin reticulum formed? Basically, chromatin reticulum wears the hereditary material. Chromosomes segregate to form the chromatin reticulum. Are you getting me? Generally, you know, it carries hereditary informations. It carries hereditary information. Basically, chromatin occurs in the form of coil fibers. Chromatin occurs in the form of coiled fibers, and they produce all these fibers produce a network called chromatin reticulum. So what is chromatin? Chromatin actually the chromosomal parts. You know, they are not visible during interphase. They form this chromatin reticulum, and during cell division, this chromatin reticulum open to form the chromosomes. During cell division, this chromatin reticulum open to form the what? Chromosomes. Now, here, if it is stained, you see, two specific differentiated regions are found. One region is found to be darkly stained, and it is called heterochromatin. Other is found lightly stained, called so chromatin region is of two types. One is heterochromatin, other is the eochromatin. And eochromatin is lightly stained, heterochromatin is darkly stained. That's why you can say that eochromatin is thinner and heterochromatin is thinner, lightly stained, and heterochromatin, where is heterochromatin? Thicker and darkly stained. The basic difference, the heterochromatin is thicker and darkly stained, and eochromatin is thinner and lightly stained. The next point of difference is, you know, obviously, you know that it contains the euchromatin contains active genes. Euchromatin contains active genes, and heterochromatin contains the heterochromatin doesn't contain actually any gene. So you will not get any gene in the heterochromatin region. So this is the most important thing. The heterochromatin is not going to carry any gene, but euchromatin carries the functional genes. So you can write euchromatin is transcriptionally active.
Sir, euchromatin is
Transcriptionally active.
transcript. अच्छा.
बूझ रहा. What is the meaning of this? You know, DNA RNA. From DNA, RNA is formed, and this process is called transcription. From DNA, RNA is formed, and the process is called transcription. And then RNA protein is formed, is called translation. So in order to, if a gene, if any segment of chromosome is to act as gene, it should have the ability to undergo transcription, because the genetic information is carried from DNA to RNA and then to protein. So if DNA fails to transcribe, information cannot be carried to the next. If it fails to transcribe, information cannot be carried to the next, and that's why we can say it is transcriptionally either active or transcriptionally inactive. Is it clear to you?
Yes, sir.
Sir.
Crossing over, takes place in the euchromatin region. Crossing over takes place in the euchromatin region, but crossing over doesn't occur in the heterochromatin region. Crossing over doesn't occur in the heterochromatin region. So what are the differences I discussed here? First, you just remember this. First point of view, euchromatin is thin and thinner and lightly stained. Heterochromatin is thicker and darkly stained. Euchromatin is transcriptionally active. Heterochromatin is transcriptionally inactive. Euchromatin possesses active genes. Heterochromatin doesn't possess any gene. In the euchromatin region, crossing over takes place. In the heterochromatin region, no crossing over occurs. So these are the basic point of difference between euchromatin and heterochromatin. Is it clear to you?
Sir, crossing over মানে
আচ্ছা, crossing over means যে দেখাচ্ছি মানুষটা এই জায়গাটা মুছে দিন। এই জায়গাটা একটু মুছে দিতে হবে।
মুছে দাও স্যার।
এই যে বাঁ দিকটা is a homologous pair. Then what happens? So here there is a cut it made by endonuclease. Then exchange of chromatin material takes place between homologous chromosomal pair. Look. Clear? So here exchange of chromatin material takes place between two homologous chromosomes, and this is called crossing over. Are you getting me now? It occurs in the Pachytene subphase of first meiotic division. Crossing over Pachytene prophase 1 of meiosis 1 occurs in the Pachytene subphase of prophase 1 of meiosis 1. Which one? Crossing over. Crossing over refers to the exchange of genetic material between two homologous chromosomes. This is actually exchange of between two homologous chromosomes. Homologous chromosomes, which one is paternal, other is the maternal. When same exchange of crossing over genetic material takes place between two non-homologous chromosomes, do you know what it is called? Whenever exchange of genetic material takes place between two non-homologous chromosomes, then what it is called? Anyone can say?
Genetic recombination.
Huh?
Genetic recombination.
No, this is genetic recombination. But whenever exchange of genetic material, to mushi dicchi jayega. Look, suppose is chromosome number 9, this is chromosome number 22. So you see, here exchange of genetic material takes place between 9th chromosome and 22 chromosome of the human being, and this is called translocation. Whenever exchange of genetic material takes place between two non-homologous chromosomes, then the phenomenon used is translocation. You know, the modified 22nd chromosome. And this is the modified 9th chromosome. And the modified 27th chromosome is called Philadelphia chromosome. Whenever exchange of genetic material takes place between 9th and 27th chromosome, a modified 27th chromosome is formed after translocation, and which is called Philadelphia chromosome. And this actually what I am going to say you, the exchange of genetic material may occur between homologous chromosomes and may occur between non-homologous chromosomes. When exchange of genetic material takes place between homologous chromosomes, it is called crossing over, and whenever exchange of genetic material takes place between non-homologous chromosome, it is called what? Translocation. So here what is shown, translocation is shown, here what is shown, crossing over is shown. Is it clear to you now?
Yes, sir.
Okay. হ্যাঁ কোনটা সেকেন্ড ক্রোমোজোম আর এর নামটা হচ্ছে যে আমি বড় করে লিখে দিচ্ছি তার His name is Philadelphia chromosome.
ক্রোমাটিন হলো একটা সিঙ্গেল স্ট্র্যান্ড, আর ক্রোমোজোম হলো অনেকগুলি ক্রোমাটিন কনডেন্স হয়ে একটা প্যাকেজ ফর্ম করে।
কোনটা কনডেন্স পার্ট কোনটা বল? Let's just write one point. The chromatins are the uncondensed part of nucleoprotein complex. Just it chromatins is the uncondensed part of nucleoprotein complex, whereas chromosomes are the condensed part of the nucleoprotein complex. You know, during cell division, when meiosis starts, they undergo condensation to form the chromosomes. I think you can remember in the prophase 1, spiralization followed by condensation occurs, so that the metaphase chromosome is formed. That means you need to always remember chromosomes are the condensed part and chromatin refers to the uncondensed part. This is the most important part, and chromatin is visible in the interphase. That's why you can remember chromatin is visible in interphase. Whether chromosomes are visible, you know this thing in M phase mainly. M phase means prophase, metaphase, anaphase, telophase together called M phase. So this is what about the chromatin and chromosome. I think it is clear to you now. So what is chromatin and what is chromosome? So next part is here we can discuss some of this chromosome now. জায়গাটা মুছে দিই। One thing. Normally this is a chromosome. This is called the centromere. These are actually chromatids. Actually arm you can write and call chromatids. Now, depending on the location of centromere, Depending on the location of centromere, chromosomes are of following types. What are they? One, telocentric. Or you can draw it in double chromatic. So this is the telocentric. In telocentric, centromere lies near the end of the chromosome. Centromere lies, in this case, centromere lies in the terminal area. আরো শুরু করে দিতে হচ্ছে। Then you can call it, this is the centromere. Then you can call it telocentric and it is eye-shaped. One arm is dot-like, other is quite larger. Then next time, this suppose, then এদিকে করে দিই। So here centromere lies near the end. Here centromere lies almost at the end of chromosome. Here near the end of chromosome. So it is J-shaped. Then submetacentric. Centromere lies near the middle of the chromosome. So, centromere lies near the middle of the chromosome. One arm is system larger than the other arm. After submetacentric, last one is centromere lies almost at the middle of the chromosome. You can do like this. So here this is the centromere. It lies almost middle of the chromosome. Clear? Is it clear the differences? The telocentric, acrocentric, submetacentric, and metacentric. These are four types of chromosomes. Is it clear to you?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Okay. Now, if you go to the structure of a chromosome, I will be showing you now. এই জায়গাটা মুছে দিই যেখানে দেখাতে পারি What about the structure of a chromosome? Look, it's a chromosome. Not in all, in one or two chromosomes in a cell, you will get a secondary constriction. Actually, it is the primary constriction, which is developed in the centromeric region. In most of the chromosomes, only primary constriction is found. But in some, when nucleolar organizer is there, a secondary constriction is developed. And this secondary constriction is the produced the nucleolar organizer. Nucleolar organizer. This is the region which gives rise to nucleolar. This one. So, how many nucleolar? Generally, one nucleolus is present inside one nucleus. So all chromosomes should not have this secondary constriction. Only one or two chromosomes will get the secondary constriction when nucleolar organizer is developed. During telophase stage, from this nucleolar organizer, nucleolus is formed. From this nuclear organizer, nucleolus is formed. And this part, a bulbous part, is found in this region, which is called satellite, and it is a non-functional part made of repetitive DNA, and it is transcriptionally inactive part. So, chromosome with satellite.
Sir, can you repeat the satellite part?
একটা মিনিট chromosome with satellite called sat chromosome. Satellite what is? In beyond the secondary constriction region, a small chromatin part is found made of repetitive DNA called satellite. Are you getting me? In the secondary constriction region of a chromosome, a small chromatin part is present made of repetitive DNA called satellite.
Okay, sir.
And chromosome with satellite called sat chromosome.
Sir, what is the function of this satellite?
The other thing, satellite is actually transcriptionally inactive part. Satellite doesn't carry any gene. Satellite doesn't carry any gene. It is transcriptionally inactive part. It doesn't carry any gene. Clear?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So after this, so chromatin part is completed. Now we have to talk another thing I should say here, in a chromosome, you need to remember this most important part. So this is a chromosome. This is called chromonema thread. In the chromonema, some bead-like structures are found. Some bead-like structures are found, and they are called chromomeres. Chemically, chromonema refers to the DNA. Can you tell me how many DNA molecules are present in this chromosome? One. কটা ডিএনএ আছে এখানে? একটা ডিএনএ। এবার যদি আমরা ড্রয়িংটাকে এইভাবে করি, because this idea is very much required for cell division. So number of chromosome, one. Number of DNA, one. Here number of chromosome, one. Number of DNA, two. দেখো দুটো আগে ক্লিয়ার কিনা? It is very much required in cell division. Number of chromosomes and number of DNA. Number of chromosomes, here it is 1. Number of DNA 2. Here number of chromosome 1, number of DNA also 1. দেখো এই জায়গাটা ক্লিয়ার কিনা? It is very much required to be clear. এখানে একটা ক্রোমোজোম একটা ডিএনএ, এখানে একটা ক্রোমোজোম কিন্তু দুটো ডিএনএ। এটা একে নাও।
স্যার এখানে দুটো ডিএনএ কেন?
হ্যাঁ এই যে দুটো ডিএনএ, এই একটা ডিএনএ, এই আরেকটা ডিএনএ, বুঝেছো?
হ্যাঁ হ্যাঁ স্যার বুঝেছি।
এই আইডিয়াটা ক্লিয়ার হতে হবে সেল ডিভিশন বুঝতে গেলে। যেমন পরের চ্যাপ্টারে তো সেল ডিভিশন, বেসিক্যালি এটা এখান থেকে বুঝে নিয়ে সুবিধা হবে। Because chromosomes are found to be with two chromatids. আচ্ছা এখানে আরেকটা জিনিস বুঝিয়ে দিই, এটা খুব দরকার, এটা তোমাদের ডাউট হয়। দেখো এটা বুঝছি কিনা? এটা হচ্ছে ক্রোমোজোম উইথ সিঙ্গেল ক্রোমাটিড। আমরা আগে গেছিলাম এরকম ক্রোমোজোম উইথ সিঙ্গেল ক্রোমাটিড, ক্রোমোজোম উইথ টু ক্রোমাটিড। The chromosome with single chromatid and chromosome with two chromatids. During prophase stage, chromosomes are found to be with two chromatids. In the metaphase also, chromosomes are found to be with two chromatids. But in the anaphase stage, when division of centromere occurs, chromosomes are found to be with single chromatid. In the telophase also, chromosomes are found to be with single chromatid. Later on, whenever S phase occurs, again from S phase onwards, chromosomes are found to be with two chromatids because in the S phase, replication of DNA occurs. কথাটা বুঝতে পেরেছিস?
হ্যাঁ স্যার বুঝতে পেরেছি।
হ্যাঁ, ক্লিয়ার?
হ্যাঁ স্যার।
Bah, very good. Now we have to proceed towards the next. Next means the nucleolus. একটু মুছে দেবো এই জায়গাটা, এটা মুছে দিলেই হবে। এটা একটু মুছে দিই।
হ্যাঁ
Yes,
স্যার।
sir.
This is the perinuclear chromatin. The other is the intranuclear chromatin. So this is the region which is generally called the granular region. In the periphery, you will get the granular region. Then you will get some fibrillar region. Small fibrilles, basically you will get the fibril here. So this is the fibrillar region. Then in the center, you will get the pars amorpha. This area is called pars amorpha. So there are specific regions here, as I told you. So, for the different parts here, granular region, different parts, Granular region. Oh, chromatin region is there. Forget it, the most important chromatin region. Parts amorpha. So in the nucleolus, structure of nucleolus, there is the granular region, fibrillary region, chromatin region, and parts amorpha. The one thing I am telling you, now next Thursday there will be an exam. Do you know this? Next Thursday তোমাদের exam হবে. And then start answering. Email should be functional. Otherwise, you cannot. If you cannot properly sign in, you cannot submit. একবার
Sir,
ঢুকলে-
time-
স্যার
হ্যাঁ?
অ্যাপটার নামটা কি বলেছো আবার বলো।
In the nucleolar region, synthesis of ribosomal RNA or RNA occurs. Besides, ribosomal components are also found here. Besides, ribosomal components are also found here. Besides, ribosomal components are also found here. But complete ribosome cannot be found here, because if complete ribosome is found, the translation may be started here, and if it is so, then proteins cannot be released out from the nucleus. So, final maturation of ribosome. Although different ribosomal components are found here in the nucleolar region, but the final maturation of ribosome occurs. Final maturation of ribosome occurs where? In the cytoplasm. Although some ribosomal components are formed, in the nucleolar region, but ultimately final maturation stage of ribosome occurs in the cytoplasm. বুঝতে পেরেছো? Some proteins are only synthesized in the cytoplasm. During the formation of ribosomal components, some proteins may enter the nucleolar region, through this nuclear pore. And when some components are developed, these components are to be expelled out from the nucleus to the cytoplasm, because ultimate maturation stage of ribosome occurs in the cytoplasm. So that protein synthesis can only be initiated in the cytoplasm, not in the nucleus. কথাটা বুঝতে পেরেছো সবাই?
হ্যাঁ স্যার।
Yes, sir.
Okay, so this is all about the nucleus. Nucleus plays an important role actually, it is to control all activities going on in the cell. It is to control all activities going on inside the cell. And whatever the reactions are taking place in the cell, it occurs under the instruction of the chromosomes or genes present in the nucleus. Although we have certain extra chromosomal, or you can say in the cytoplasm also some DNAs are present. So cytoplasmic inheritance to some extent, in some cases, dependent on the mitochondrial DNA. Some specific characteristics controlled by mitochondrial DNA, but most of the characteristics are controlled by the nuclear DNA. And remember this thing, although some ribosomal components are formed in the nucleolar region, but final maturation of ribosome occurs in the cytoplasm. Why? So that translation cannot be initiated in the nucleus, but in the cytoplasm. Is it clear to you all? Nucleoplasm. মুছে দিন। Matrix of nucleus is the nucleoplasm. And where you will get it? DNA, RNA, different enzymes, nucleoproteins. Enzymes like DNA polymerase, RNA polymerase,
सर डीएनए
सर
को
1 and 2 की दोनों डीएनए।
oh, sorry. Different enzymes like DNA polymerase, RNA polymerase, nucleoside phosphorylase are present here, and besides you will get the nucleoproteins. So the components of nucleoplasm here, some proteins are also found here that helps in the spindle formation. So this is a matrix. You will get the DNA, you will get the RNA, you will get the enzymes. Actually, DNA polymerase is responsible for replication of DNA. RNA polymerase is responsible for transcription of DNA. And nucleoside phosphorylase is responsible for the phosphorylation that occurs during replication and transcription. And then you will get the nucleoproteins compound. দেখো বুঝতে পেরেছি কিনা? Besides, you will get calcium, phosphorus, magnesium, etc. in that. You will get the calcium, phosphorus, magnesium in the nucleoplasm. Calcium, potassium, calcium, phosphorus, magnesium, and potassium. So this is what about the nucleoplasm. Clear? What is the role of nucleoplasm? Anyone can say the role of rigidity of the nucleus. It maintains nucleoplasm helps in maintaining turgidity of the nucleus. This is most important. It is to maintain the turgidity of the nucleus. Besides, it helps in the formation of ribosomal subunits. It is to bear the nucleolus and the chromatin. ये तीनটা पॉइंट लिखे राखिस। Has to maintain turgidity of the nucleus. It helps in the synthesis of ribosomal subunits, and it is to bear the chromatin and the nucleolus. Clear?
স্যার কি সিনথেসাইজ করে?
হ্যাঁ বুঝিনি
স্যার কি সিনথেসাইজ করে?
রাইবোজোমাল সাবইউনিটস। আচ্ছা শব্দ দিয়ে তুমি কোন গ্রুপে পরীক্ষা দেবে? or has to hold together. It holds chromatin reticulum and nucleolus. Clear?
Yes.
Okay. So this is all about the nucleus. Now regarding nucleus, there are some terms. I got a term this. You to লিখে রাখো তো। Define the following terms. You to ready করবে। দেখো syncytium, SYNCHITIUM,
আবার বলো তো।
SYNCHITIUM, তাহলে দেখো সিনোসাইট, COENOCYT, সিনোসাইট।
স্যার শোনা যাচ্ছে না ভালো করে।
সিনোসাইট তোমরা একটু পড়ে নেবে।
সেইটি জি না ওয়াই?
কোনটা? সিনকেরিয়ন, SYN। ক্লিয়ার? এগুলো তোমরা পড়ে নেবে। হ্যাঁ
স্যার 4 নাম্বারটা স্পেলিং।
MONOKARYON। দেখাচ্ছি ব্যাস, মনোকেরিয়ন। Now single membranous cell organelles. We will start with the endoplasmic reticulum first. It is found to appear in 3 forms. Cisternae, tubule, vesicle. So here are found to be present in 3 forms. One is cisternae, other is the tubule, and third one is the vesicle. Clear? Cisternae, tubule, and the vesicle. There are 3 forms of ER generally found. Then you will get the other form. Cisternae, how to identify cisternae? Cisternae has flattened shape with swollen end. These are swollen ends, then you can call cisternae. As it is tubule like this called tubule. As small round or oval in shape, then you can call it vesicle. So cisternae are found parallel to each other. Each cisterna, each one is called cisterna. Together in plural form it is called cisternae. Cisternae are present in, actually they are found to be parallel to each other. Most importantly, they are found to be parallel to each other. Tubule which is present, which is actually without any branch. It can bind to the cisternae and vesicle to form the cytoplasmic skeleton. Thirdly, vesicle. Vesicle is actually round or oval in shape. So they are found to be present in a group in the cytoplasm. So the cisternae found parallel to each other. Tubule is a tubular in structure and without any branch. It may form cytoplasmic skeleton by binding with the cisternae and vesicle. Vesicles are found to be round or oval in shape. Found to be round or oval in shape. Now this is actually one classification. There is another classification also. Rough ear and smooth ear. So you can call it rough ear if ribosomes are found to be attached with them. Smooth ear, it is devoid of ribosome. It may be tubule like, or it may be like these also. So devoid of ribosome. Ribosomes are not found to be attached with such ear. Here ribosomes are attached to ear membrane. As ribosomes are attached, that's why they are called the rough ear. As ribosomes are not attached, so they are called the smooth ear. Is it clear to you? The term rough ear and smooth ear is used whether the ribosomes are found to be attached or not, depending on this. Now, how ribosomes can be attached to it? In case of rough ear, look. There is a structure present here. A glycoprotein is found in the ear. Called ribofurine. And larger subunit of ear get attached to this ribofurine. So due to the presence of ribofurine in the ear membrane, ribosome can be attached to the ear membrane. So this is the largest subunit of ribosome. So you need to remember this thing, the larger subunit of ribosome binds to the ribofurine. Or in other words, we can say as ribofurines are present, so ribosome can bind to ear. Or due to the presence of ribofurine, ribofurine is a glycoprotein, remember this. Clear? Area or in those organs where the rate of protein synthesis is maximum, suppose in the liver, in the pancreas. So here more and more proteins are required to be synthesized. So number of rough ear is found to be more in the pancreas and liver. On the other hand, smooth ear, is concerned with the synthesis of steroid and lipids. So in the adipocyte cell, you will get more smoother. Is it clear to you? Rough hair is concerned with the protein synthesis. So rough hairs are found abundant in the pancreas and liver, where maximum protein synthesis occurs. On the other hand, smooth hair is not concerned with protein synthesis, rather it is concerned with the synthesis of lipid and steroid. So you will get smooth hair in the adipose tissue or adipocyte cell mainly. বুঝতে পেরেছো? দেখো এটা ক্লিয়ার কিনা দেখো। Hair and smooth hair. Please write differences between rough hair and smooth hair. Synthesized, steroids are synthesized. And smooth hair, rough hair is present in those areas where active protein synthesis takes place. That's why I say rough hair is abundantly found in the pancreas, in the liver, whereas smooth hair is found to be present in the adipose cells, some muscle cells, some actually, intestinal cells, where lipid is synthesized. Is it clear now? The difference between rough hair, in case of rough hair, ribosomes are found to be started with it. Smooth hair, ribosomes are not found to be attached. In rough hair, ribophorins are present. In smooth hair, ribophorins are not found. Rough hair is mainly concerned with the synthesis of proteins. Smooth hair is mainly concerned with the synthesis of lipids and steroids. So these are the differences between rough hair and smooth hair. Clear? Nuclear envelope. Remember this thing, but smooth hair, once protein synthesis is over, then ribosomes get detached from the hair. And in that time, at that time, rough hair gets converted to smooth hair also. Are you getting me? At the time of protein synthesis, ribosomes attach to it. Once protein synthesis is over, ribosomes get detached from the hair. Once from rough hair, ribosome gets detached. Rough hair is no more rough hair now. It becomes smooth hair. কথা বুঝতে পেরেছো?
স্যার একটু রিপিট করো না।
Basically, at the time of protein synthesis, actually ribosomes are attached to the ribophorin in the rough hair. Clear?
Yes.
At the time of protein synthesis, the ribosome binds to the ribophorin to form the rough hair. Clear?
Yes, sir.
Once protein synthesis is over, ribophorins get detached.
Okay.
Ribosomes get sorry. Once protein synthesis is over, ribosomes get detached. Once ribosomes get detached from rough hair, can you call it rough hair again?
No, sir.
Then it becomes smooth hair. That's why I said the smooth hair may be developed from the rough hair. And rough hair is actually developed from the nuclear envelope. Clear? Toxification also, Some toxic substances if carried to the liver, then smooth hair helps in the detoxification of substances. Smooth hair helps in detoxification. It helps in question, how does it help in detoxification? Smooth hair helps in detoxification by adding hydroxyl group to the toxin or drug. Once hydroxyl group is added to the drug, it becomes more soluble. Its solubility increases and it can be expelled out from the body along with water. বুঝতে পেরেছিস? SCR helps in the binding of OH group to the toxin. Once OH groups attached to toxins become soluble in water. As it becomes soluble, it can be flushed out from the body easily through water. Clear?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
So this way, rough air, smooth air helps in detoxification. By adding hydroxyl group to the toxin, one hydroxyl group is added to the toxin. Toxin becomes soluble and ultimately expelled out from the body. বুঝতে পেরেছো?
Yes, sir.
ওকে। সো আজকে অবধি থাক, আমরা নেক্সট দিন গোলজিবি দিয়ে শুরু, ইয়ার একটু ইয়ারের ফটো শেষ হয়ে গেছে, আমরা নেক্সট দিন গোলজিবি থেকে শুরু করবো।